How's it going, PC Nation? Welcome back to a brand new video. In this video, we're going to be talking about my top 5 Sly Cooper boss fights. If you don't know me, or don't know my recent video, or any of my videos, I have talked about Sly Cooper before. I love Sly Cooper, I love the fan base, I just love the games in general. All 4 games have had their moments, and all 4 games have 1 and 2 still pretty good. 3, it's alright. 4, could have been a little bit better, but it's still a good game, to be honest. The ending, not so well. But I'm not going to talk about that. What I'm going to talk about is my top 5 favorite boss fights. And I will do a top 5 worst boss fights, because there's more than 5 bosses in each game. Except the first game, and the third game. And I also think the 4th game has 5 boss fights. So, but first we're going to do my top 5 favorite boss fights from Sly 1 to Sly 4. And this is one boss from each game, basically. You should know that. I'm not going to do my top 5 favorite boss fights from Sly 1, because there's only 5 bosses to choose from. So, we're going to start with number 5. Pretty low in this list, but it's very unique. John Bisson. John Bisson's boss fight is very unique because first you're playing as Bentley. Brains versus Bronze. Too small to fight him head on. So you're using his own machines against him. And I love it. It's very unique. All the boss fights coming up to this moment. From episode 3 onwards, by the way, all the bosses have 2 episodes. Episode 1 and 2 is just a, here's the game, this is how it's going to be. Episode 3 comes along. Rajan's the main villain still, because you don't find him in episode 2. Spoiler, you just take the clockwork wings. In episode 3, you fight him. Episode 4, Contessa, you don't fight her until episode 5, blah, blah, blah. 6 and 7, the same thing. There's only 8 episodes in this. But John Bisson's low on this list. It is unique, but it's not the most memorable boss fight. In Sly 2 it is. It's probably the best boss fight in Sly 2. In my opinion. It's a very fun boss fight. That's why it's so low. It is fun, but it's kind of repetitive. Because you only use the 4 buttons. It's just his moveset is very repetitive. Most bosses are like that, but some of them are not in the Sly games. So that's the reason it's number 5. It's a good boss fight though. I love it. Love the boss fight. Number 4. We're going to go to Sly 1 actually. Number 4 is actually going to be Clockwork's boss fight. I love Clockwork's boss fight. Sly 1's Clockwork, not Sly 2. If you've never played Sly 2, sorry about that, but Sly 2, Clockla is the last boss, but we don't talk about Clockla. We talk about Clockwork, the actual bird, not the person inside the bird suit. So Clockwork's boss fight is higher because it's very unique. You're using a jetpack and you're fighting him, and he's just talking trash. If you want to call him based, that's what he is. He's based, but he's talking trash the whole time. There's gonna be a sequel because of the ending credit scene. I like the ending. I like Sly's revenge story, revenging for his father and his mother and father, and all that stuff. I just like Clockwork's boss fight. It's very unique in the story, and Sly 1's gonna make another appearance, but in another video. Top 5 worst boss fights. But Clockwork has to be up there. He's low because number 3 is Miss Ruby. I know Sly 1 has a lot of good boss fights. Miss Ruby's boss fight is unique, not because you can say the Paradox's boss fight is the same thing, it's just buttons. I like the concept of Voodoo Simon Says. You have to beat her. You have to beat her, and you have to do it in a certain way. You have to remember the moves, you have to dodge her voodoo X, square, circle, triangle, and all that. That's why it's number 3. But number 2 has to be El Jefe's boss fight. I love El Jefe's boss fight. Why is it not number one? Because El Jefe's boss fight is pretty good. And number two is also... Another number two boss fight has to be Black Baron. I know he's up there, but he's not number two, in my opinion. He's not worthy of El Jefe's boss fight. I just love El Jefe's boss fight. He is a bad A. He's not annoying. He's actually cool to fight. And you use the suit to fight him, which you use a lot. But I love how you fight him, and I love how you can just whack on him, and his moves are very cool, and his boss fight is amazing. It's not number one, because number one has to go to another Sly 4 boss fight, Penelope. The reason I think it's one of the best boss fights in the series is because how you fight her. Not because of her herself. Penelope as a character is just annoying. She does get a little bit upgrade in Sly 4. A lot of upgrade. She was annoying and very annoying in Sly 3. When Sly 4 came around, it's a very shocker boss fight. And it's a mech battle. People don't think that's cool, but that boss fight is actually cool. Because first, you're fighting a giant robot, Penelope. Then Bentley comes along and fights her with a mech. So now you're fighting a mech. I like that. Robot battle, mech controlled battles are cool. Not a lot of people like Sly 4, but that boss fight is very cool. If you have a different opinion in the comments, go ahead and comment that. I like to hear other people's opinions, but if you haven't played any of the Sly games, if you've played all 4 like I have multiple times, then you know what I'm talking about. But Penelope's boss fight, I think, is one of the best boss fights. Why is it better than El Jefe's? Because it's a mech battle. I love the mech battle. That's just my opinion. El Jefe's is very good. It was between his or Penelope's boss fight to be number one. But some honorable mentions, a lot of people like to do that. Black Baron, by the way, Black Baron's boss fight, aka Penelope, is also... It's also ironic that her name is Black Knight and Black Baron. But 2 honorable mentions that I love. Black Baron's boss fight, because you fight him in the sky with a plane, and then you're fighting him on a plane. So you're fighting him with a plane, then on a plane. And another boss fight that I love a lot, is another unique one. People don't really like this boss fight because it's not very unique, but Grizz's boss fight. I love Grizz's boss fight. It's just like Miss Ruby's boss fight. I think it would be up there as number 3, but I just love Clockwork's first boss fight. Clockwork's first boss fight is amazing. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, press the share button, press the like button, press the red shiny subscribe button, press the bell so you get notified every time I upload a video, and see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.